Whoops. Got a little funky there on you guys. There we go. All right, let's do a quick sound check. See if you guys can hear me. Wait for that chat to kick in there. Good. All right, great. Josh, how are you doing this evening? Salty, but can hear you. Yes, I'm going to stop that actually in 1 second. I'm trying to catch up here. I like a whole bunch of people message me all at one time. It never fails. It's like, okay, it's 5 of, and then all of a sudden, bam, I get blasted with like 100 messages all at one time. Okay, here we go. Sound is good. All right, so I'm going to start this drawing as well. This for the giveaway, guys. Make sure that you do. Let's see. Bam, there we go. Okay, so you guys should be able to see it. Make sure that you guys do your little login for tonight. Remember, it is exclamation point ticket, not hashtag like we keep talking about. All right, you guys are in. Looks like people are a little bit late tonight, but that is okay. There we go. Got 3 of you guys in again. That will just take the entire time, so I'll make sure I remind you guys at the end. Now, as far as let's go over to, where is it? The contest. Okay, so we're going to do this drawing real quick. Again, this has nothing to do with the thing that you guys are putting in for now, but we're going to hit close. Yes, we're going to close the contest. Okay, now let's see. Let's go in. Pull this up. Let's see where the euro is. And again, we'll kind of see how this works out. So the euro is at 110.85. So it is obviously below 111. You guys didn't listen when I told you guys it's getting ready to hit an area. You guys are like, nope, I know what's going on. Didn't listen to me. It went down, so let's kind of see here. So the winner of this one obviously is going to be the below. So I go ahead over here, and I think I do pick winner. 6 entered this contest, so I pick the winner. And let's see. I don't know if how I do this or not. I don't know. Did anybody just get? There you go. And all your bets and 14% of the total pool with 30% of all the bets and 14%. I don't know. So let's see. Let's check on. Let's go back to contests. Let's see. We'll see if the leaderboard, there was any changes in the leaderboard. Yep. So it looks like Ernest picked below. My other account picked below as well, and it looks like Will. I think Will. Will, did you pick below too? I would have. No, I don't think you did because you would. I think you would have jumped higher. I don't think you bet anything. I think Will was holding chips. So obviously Ernest and I picked below. And I don't see anybody else that shot up. Actually, James, I don't know how much you bet either. Man, I wish it would show me or kind of give me a rundown of it. I'll have to figure that one out. I wish you would have given a list. Like I said, I know I was not up to 164 here, but again, it launched me that far up. And again, Ernest, I don't think was this high either. I think Ernest got launched farther ahead as well because Will was in the lead yesterday, so we jumped up. I wonder if I can see my 2 past contests results. Let's see if it gives it to me over here. Man, I wish it would show us what it was. It's like, you're killing me. So 6 of us entered. I guess it was 4 and 2. You're killing me with the suspense. Ernest, I think it was us, man. Look, you're up here. Remember last night Will was in the lead. Actually, if you guys scroll down, you can see WM2. He had 332. So he was back there. So Ernest, you must have picked below. And I must have picked below because again, this is my second handle. Um, my wife typically watches from the other room, but she's been on. And again, I got launched up and you got launched up. So Will was in the lead. I was at 97 and you were at 75. So what it did, it took those two things and pushed it up. So I guess I didn't win any dinner tonight. Nope, it doesn't look like you did. So, Ernest, we won. We were the only two, I guess, that picked below. Because I guess if there was 6, it was 4 and 2. So, I don't know who else did it. Carl, James, all you guys picked above. So, Ernest and I were the only two that picked below on this one. So, got you guys. That's how it worked out. All right, so with that being said, make sure you guys hit the exclamation point ticket. Yes, eat that, Carl. Carl's not even here to defend himself. He's not even there, but man, I wish it did I didn't see anything, but maybe it did on my phone. I don't know. Like I said, I can't tell. But it would be nice if there was like a track record to where you could kind of see. It's like, oh well, who got the points? But I guess it does it in Seeker because we don't have a lot of people, but there are channels with 1,000 people, and you wouldn't want to get all that spam for all the people that pick below. So, Ernest, congratulations. Again, you and I, we owned it tonight, sticking it to everybody else. All right. And like I said, contest right now, there are giveaways. There's four people in right now. Okay. Ernest is not over here yet. He's trying to be nice to you guys. But again, we can, you guys will be able to do this the whole time. All right. So looking at Forex Factory. All right. So today, again, CAD wasn't bad this morning. You had some positive news. CPI was up, common CPI as well as trimmed. There was one bit of a revision, that medium, and then really nothing throughout the day. The pound number was actually a much larger miss. I didn't think they would be that off on that one, but they missed that one pretty good. But you can see across the board again, the markets are basically on vacation this week. So there's really just not much going on. Again, another slow day. 7, you can see 37 is the big mover. Dollar Swiss is up 41. Again, it's a bad day when the dollar Swiss, or not a bad day, I guess. I guess I should say I guess I would say a slow day, right? When the Swissy is the pair that has moved the most, and actually the only one, I guess the pound moved down, but it's the only one that's moved in the same exact direction. Again, it tells you something, right? Aussie dollar -2, Aussie yen 11, pound yen -16. I mean, that thing has. I mean, the ATR on the pound yen has got to be getting sucked way back down below 100 again. I wouldn't be surprised if we're starting to get over into the low 90s or high 80s at this point. And then dollar CAD, I wouldn't even say it's a respectable -19, but it is not that great. So we shall see. So let's dive into the charts. We already know what the euro looks like, but let's start off back here on the Aussie yen. Okay. Now, again, we were talking about consolidation, and again, we stayed somewhat inside of the same range. We're right here. You guys can see it's at 21. If we go back, price was right here. Okay, so here's where price was. It went a little bit up, went a little bit back, and then pulled back. I mean, like I said, here is the 21 mark right here. Exactly where this line is hitting right here. This is kind of where we were. So a little bit of movement up, a little bit of movement down. Really nothing. Again, it's flat. Okay, again. This can happen. This is kind of an extreme. It typically doesn't happen this many days in a row, but again, it can happen. It's really the last true week of August. You're seeing college kids go back to school now. You're seeing, as I said, I have a couple of cross players going back this week to go to private school in Maryland. My sister's kids in Texas. She lives in Austin. They went back to school last Thursday. So again, if you're trying to get cheap vacation, this is the week to do it because people are already heading back. So again, markets seem like they are on vacation as well. Don't want to necessarily move as much. So again, kind of the same similar setup. I don't really see too much in this pair that I necessarily love. Again, wick to the top, wick to the bottom on the 4-hour. I'm not even looking at the daily because it's just flatline, right? But even here on the 4-hour, there's really not a whole lot of kind of bouncing that's really kind of worthwhile talking about, right? Again, trying to determine whether we have an uptrend or a downtrend in this. I mean, again, right now, yeah, the green is technically out, but not really, right? In which case it would be an anchor break to the downside anyway. So it's signaling more for kind of a reversal to the downside. It's a little bit more bearish right now, but it can really only move back down to the start here. So again, you guys see the nice little kind of basing here, this strong candle up sideways. And again, it was very green and then kind of pulled back. So we probably, let me see, we'll drop this down and see if it gives us a better picture. Yeah, you can see it here. Up, back, up. But besides this kind of just rally here, not really too much that's, stands out, And again, this is down here at 72. we're talking about 21 pips away. Now the ATR on this one right now is, I mean, it's coming back down. Okay, even with kind of it's spiking here because of this average. It's starting to head its way back down, and we're back down into the 60s. Before that, we were over here at the 50 mark before this one candle. Okay, so start removing this. This average is coming down real quick, right? It's really starting to head back down again. So again, you have this candle kind of saving us in here, but you guys can see we're back down to 60 pip ATR. So even on the 15 minute, we're talking about a zone about 20 away. Interesting. Not too much there. Now, looking at today, again, nothing. Tomorrow is where we're going to kind of slam with all that news. And again, that's when Jackson Hole starts. Now, tomorrow night, I will say this. By this time tomorrow, you will have the New Zealand dollar retail sales, meaning we could get some movement from this pair tomorrow night as it reacts off the Aussie news. Okay, so there is that in this whole thing. There is kind of one benefit to, it not moving. Markets are ready to go. Okay, big money is sitting on the side right now. It's really not doing much. We are at a little bit of the basing area here, though. Just be cautious. I think we, if we can drive through, it's got to get through a little bit. But again, it's got too much of forward hits. We need to get some movement here. We need to clear this bottom area down here at the 72 area. If you guys look at this chart, we're basically, let me use this one. You have this level of basing here, and then you have this level of basing up top. And that's kind of the channel that we're sitting in. And unfortunately, it's a channel of about 30. Again, I'm being nice by putting it there and there. I mean, really, it's probably a little bit higher. It's probably more of a basing there and a basing kind of more in this section here is where I would draw the channel. So you're talking about less than 40 pips top to bottom, okay? And we've already pushed about 20 pips back down into the middle. So we are kind of in no man's land in this one to trade right now. So really not much of a setup, all right? This is why I was skeptical about joining Combine in August, dead market. Yeah, I know, Ernest. And again, but I think if you signed up and you didn't initiate it, you still have your redeeming coupon. And I'm still waiting to hear back from them to see if you waited, if it would kind of continue further. So that's kind of the one thing. And again, I could probably complain and be like, hey, listen, markets have been flat as anything. Obviously nobody's passing the Combine right now when the markets aren't moving. Are you extending this thing? And, they seem like they're listening. So we shall see, right? Again, flatness halfway through. Don't love anything about it. Let's go over to Aussie New Zealand. So Aussie New Zealand, again, we are upside inside this daily zone. So remember last night we talked about if we could get up just a little bit further, here we are right now. If we go back to 19 was right here. And I said, I'd like it to get just a bit higher up. Well, guess what? We're in the higher up area right now. So in this one, again, if we were looking for kind of a red, green, red confirmation, you guys can see we didn't get it here, didn't get it here, didn't get it here, obviously, didn't get it here, didn't get it here, bam, 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 we got it right here, kind of where price is right now. So if you wanted to take a kind of a smaller position on this one, again, with the markets not moving, you don't want to go too crazy right now, but you could set up a position like this, okay? Set yourself up like that, okay? That would be about a 10 pip run right there, right? Because again, we are in a daily zone, we are in a 4-hour zone, okay? About 12 pip risk on this one total, right? We have a red, green, red confirmation as it comes out the other side. Price is really at the start of it right now. And if you're looking for another, an area of where kind of the last time we really saw some movement, there could be something down here. Most likely this is going to be your target. But if you're going to draw it, you'd have something along these lines, right? Probably about there. I mean, even if we take it to here, you're talking about 36. It's over 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So again, as slow as everything is, not a bad little play. I mean, again, price could go a bit higher, but if we wanted to take this based off of the lower time frame where we saw things, if it does go higher, obviously it could, but it is starting to push back right now. It is forming lower highs. It looks like it's starting to push down and make lower lows. So again, this is one potential trade that you'd be able to take, okay? Again, with 12 pips risk, it's not a whole lot in there. Again, you may even want to take it off just a little bit before, maybe take it off at 30, 35. But again, that could be a potential overnight trade setup in there. Okay, it's not horrible. The reason why we're going against trend as well, and again, obviously uptrend, but it's an uptrend hitting a level of supply with sellers at the top. Okay, so this is kind of a top and bottom curve here. This is obviously the highest thing we have in the chart. Obviously, the lowest is down here with a very, very peak. Again, large area here. Obviously, we could have taken when we entered. This is a bit too much, right? Let's see. What is it total? Let's see. I mean, total's 22. I wouldn't want to take 22 when, we're looking to... I mean, if you did a 22 down into this area, I guess you could. If you were looking to go into this area, I guess you could take it. again, that's kind of smack in the middle here. I think I would just rather kind of go for the nice little pop here. Okay, go for a 3-to-1 on this one is what I'd be kind of shooting for. Yeah, we're getting close to the bottom here. And again, the way this formed, it's not really the best of levels. So I think we can get a little bit further. But again, once you get up 12 pips in this one, obviously move your stop loss to break even. Don't take a loss on this one by any means. All right. Any further moves and wait for grandfather? Yeah, Ryan, I haven't heard back again. I'll follow up again tomorrow. Typically it takes them a couple days because, like I said, the person that I deal with over there, I guess they got too big that they actually brought in a third-party company. Nobody at the third-party company knew, so they sent it over to, I guess, the marketing people, and they didn't have an answer either. And then they sent it over to kind of the creator person, and so there's like 3 people involved, and they're trying to figure it out. But as soon as I find out, I'll make sure I post it on Discord. Okay. But like I said, I'm feeling the same thing that Ernest did. I bought into it as well and did not use my coupon yet. So it says, let us know when you're going to redeem this. It's like, oh, okay. But again, I don't know if mine is different than yours is or not. Would this be considered a counter trend trade? Wealth builder? Yeah, of course it would. Yeah, absolutely it is. And again, you're on a little bit more of a delay, so I explained it, but you may not have gotten it. But just real quick again, yes, it is an uptrend, but it's an uptrend hitting an area of sellers on the larger time frame. So that's the opportunity for us to take a reversal to kind of shoot back in the other direction. Okay. That's why you would kind of take one of these. And again, you want to make sure you have small risk. So we dropped it down to the 30 minutes to make sure we took low risk. All right. Let's look at Aussie dollar. Okay. Got it. Okay. Actually, your delay doesn't seem like it's too bad. So Aussie dollar, what is the trend, guys, on the daily? Trick question. How about this one? What is it on the 4-hour? Trick question. So again, we did pop up and it drove us right back down again. So there was a potential you guys could have taken something, again, on the 30-minute. If you looked up here, again, you may have said, hey, listen, this kind of went up with no bit of a retracement. What you could have done is taken it off of here. Okay, you could have said, hey, wait a second. You said, hey, look, we started to push back down. We had a level of basing here. Okay, and let's make this realistic. It's about there. Okay, now again, 4 pips risk. Kind of time. Actually, let me do this the other way. Go from top to bottom. No, it's bottom to top. And again, if you guys just, if this is too small, again, you may not have taken this one. This is something on the smaller time frame. Again, just as something you could have learned. So obviously here, it went up again, same area, based, pushed out. And again, this candle, is it gigantic? Is it huge? For the time frame, kind of, right? I mean, it's one of the bigger candles that is on here, right? As far as what we've been looking at for today. Pushed down strong, it retraced up again, typical racetrack, came back up, hit, and then dropped back down again. Profit target on this one obviously would have been in this area here. And again, you can see we hit that. Obviously, trade's gone now. Nothing we can do about that one. And that would have given you guys about 18. So again, is it a huge trade? No. If you're taking something on the smaller time frames, again, risking 4 to make this, it's a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio trade. So, it's a slow day when we're talking about risking 4 pips and going for 18 in the opposite direction. And again, I would have taken it for 18. It's 17.9. It's just where I drew it from. If it bugs you too much, I can go down here and click to there. It's the same thing. Yeah, didn't travel much more than that. Ran right back in this area of basing. Okay, actually, this is where the target would have been. Sorry, it would have been here. So it would have been there. So it would have been 19.9 or 19.7. So risking 4 to make 20, almost 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio trade. Now remember, smaller trades, you have the ability to take a little bit more in there if you get stopped out quick. Again, it's, you just got to be cautious with it. But that was a trade setup that you kind of had today. Now, finding that over here in the 4-hour probably been a little bit difficult, but again, had you been watching this on the screen and saw that we had this big rally up, right? I mean, we had what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of just straight up. Then basing, again, it pulled back, it tried to grab more orders, failed to go any higher, pulled back again, okay, and then kind of gave us this kind of nice like exit. That would have been a trigger to go in. Okay, again, smaller time frame trade. Trying to pull a 4-hour out of this one and grab it over here it just would have been rough. Okay, would have been a little difficult. All right, it's just very, very hard to figure out trend anywhere in here. All right, so again, smaller time frame opportunity right now. Nothing really. I mean, we're kind of bouncing around this level. You guys can see hit low here, 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 and again, we're ready to hit low at the same area again. Um, this one, it spent almost no time. It came down and retraced back up again. So I do believe it didn't even do a pause like this. It just went down and came right back up again. So I believe there's still some orders sitting down here with these kind of wicks. Not necessarily ready to take this one short. And again, it's only about 20 pips down to this bigger area. I think I would still wait until we got down to this area again if I was going to look for something overnight or any type of set and forget type trading. It's about all I have on the side. All right. Looking at pound Aussie. And again, if you guys are new just jumping in the stream, make sure you type exclamation point ticket to get in over here. All right. And Carl is not here. Now, one thing I do think is interesting. I'm going to figure out how to do this. So I think it can do like announcements when people come in. I think I'm going to get that like Imperial March music when Carl logs in next time because you guys are all over him. So I'm gonna do the I'm gonna do the dun 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 when he comes in because he literally robbed you guys at that last moment. Came in there and just stole it from you guys. All right, so pound Aussie. Okay, ugly candle for today, right? This was our Tuesday candle. You guys can see the body's very small, lots of wick top and bottom. All right, so it was kind of bouncing back and forth again. So you guys can see we had these two areas. Did it go all the way down to the bottom? No, it didn't. It made it pretty much all the way to the bottom. Didn't quite make it there, right? This is a 15-minute chart. So again, we are here right now at the 21. If we go back and we see the 21 is right here, okay, in this area, okay? We said if we leave the area, this was it came down to here, it came back up and retested, okay? So Ben, there was your first profit target here of 50 pips. Again, based off of last night, I can move this over if you guys want. There would have been your completion of the one. You hit it right there, okay? And number two, again, you guys would have, it still technically would be going on, but again, at this point, it started to push back up again. You would have taken yourself out. So most likely, you would have probably gotten out somewhere over here. But worst case scenario, here, I'll shrink this one so you guys can see it a little bit better. There we go. Okay. So again, 50 at its peak, you guys would have been up on this one. And actually, hold on. This is wrong. Because remember, we shortened this up to the smaller area. Okay, so 60 and actually, I know we did off the bottom one. We probably should have done it off that one, but whatever. This is how I drew it originally. Okay, that had been 127. So at its peak, your first position came out at 60. Your second one was at about 118. Okay, and again for me, once we broke here, I would have been out of the trade. Okay, here was one break when it pulled back and kind of broke that zone, saying, we got a problem, and it pushed back down, and he said, okay, not bad, rally up again, and then when it went above, it hit these two. So for me, the target for me I would have gotten out at is right here. Would have been right at the break of this piece right there. Okay, I know that's not straight, and I know somebody in here will have OCD and be like, what are you doing? Okay, so for me, the grab would have been on that one, 72 or 77. All right. So it's that one. Okay. It would have come out right there. So 77. Let's kind of put this into perspective. The total risk on this one was 13 pips. Hold on one sec. This is one of the ones we had last night. Darth Carl. Why is it not working? Okay. Huh. My Windows. So Windows updated me on the other day. And it made it. Oh, not the calendar. And it made it all weird. Now, like, my search function doesn't work as well. All right. So 60. It's actually 61.8, but we'll just do 61 plus 78. Okay, there's a total of 139 pips on this one. Risk on it was 13. So again, had you taken a standard lot, okay, it means that each is worth $6.78. Okay, so we can take our 61 times. We're just going to say you took it with one standard, not two, and you took half off. So let's do it this way. So what, 678, I'll do it this way, divided by 2 equals this, times, what did I say, 139? Yeah. So again, $471 trade. Okay. Your risk on this one total was 13 times 678. So you risked 88 bucks for 471 on this one. Okay. Again, smaller time frame. Again, we took this one off this 4-hour zone right here. And again, same situation, Wealth Builder, because again, yes, was it rallying higher? Yes. Was it breaking new highs? Yes, it was. But what was it doing? It was going into a larger time frame reversal area. Okay. We obviously want to stay with the trend, but we don't want to be buying it in an area of sellers, and we don't want to be selling it in an area of buyers. So that's exactly what it did. Again, profit target wise, I probably should have chosen this one and not gone all the way down. We chose the bottom one for some reason. I'm not sure why. I had a reason last night. Ideally, though, you should have taken this one off here. Okay. Again, that's where this last big burst was. So I should have taken it off there. So you should have been able to grab 91 and 61. So about 150 pips out of this one is what you should have been able to grab. But I didn't grab the full amount. I drew it wrong. Okay. Again, that's where we had it originally. So let's delete this box. But that's where you should have taken yourself out. Put it back over. That's where it should have been drawn. It should have been taken out right here. Okay. Is where you should have been taken out. All right, so where we are right now, if you're going to do the same thing, kind of channeling back and forth, again, we talked about we had this channel here, and then we kind of breached the top side, and we were looking at entries at this top level, again, the 4-hour zone. So we did hit, we did push all the way back down, and now we've kind of retraced back up again. Well, we retraced right back in the middle of the zone. So obviously there's some buyers down here where this dotted line is, right? Obviously, there's some sellers up top. We're sitting right at the 50% mark. So for me, being at the 50% mark in a market that's really just going sideways, there's nothing that really dictates that I get into this trade right now. Again, there is a little bit of a doji that is red here. I'd say it's basically just a wash. It didn't really matter. Even if we counted this current move, again, you can see this red is engulfed. If this is, if you are, right now, if we're just counting the green and the red, yes, the red is engulfed inside of the green. So it is turned into kind of a sideways type position right now. And again, the volatility has kind of been sucked out of it. Now, tomorrow morning with the French and German news, I do think we will have some movement in any of the pairs associated with the euro. The pound obviously will move a little bit because the euro pound will move, which will affect this one as well. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for right now. Now, if price does rally back up and for some reason shoots up into this zone, I am absolutely going to be looking to take another short off of it. That would be something I'd be willing to kind of get into. All right. Besides that, nothing else. Now, euro pound. Speaking of that pair. All right. Man, this one, same thing. Again, waiting for movement tomorrow on this one. Remember last night on this one when I said if it was in the exact same spot, I'd be pretty happy with it? It's basically in the exact same spot, right? Figure here's 19. There's 19. So it's in the same exact spot as it was last night. God, this one really got really slow. All eyes on this one are, unfortunately, this one's, look how, this is just hardware here. All eyes are on this for tomorrow morning, unfortunately. Again, just to review that with you guys. Tomorrow morning, start at 3:15. You have the French numbers come in, and then you have the German numbers come in. And again, these are the two largest economies. Okay, these drive everything inside of the European Union. So, yeah, a lot of stuff tomorrow morning for this pair. Okay, this is probably going to be the pair to trade it in because obviously you guys know. Okay, I got it. Boom. Obviously tomorrow, like I said, pound is obviously weak. There's not really any way to say it. Yes, it's had a little bit more strength in this pair. It's pulled back from that daily buying zone. But if you start lumping euro weakness in, it becomes a little bit more of a threat and gives them a little bit more breathing room, if that makes sense. Okay, not a bad area to kind of, pull in. All right. Let's go to euro yen, see if there's a better setup on euro yen. Hopefully. Not really. Today's candle was, you guys can see the red candle right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Here is this candle here is your Tuesday candle. Tuesday and a Wednesday. So yes, spike down, hit the blue area again, came right back up. Okay. Here's the 19. Actually, it didn't. That's from yesterday. There's the 19 right here. So it stayed at the same exact level, flatlined. Absolutely no movement at all. The joys of trading sometimes. Okay. Yeah. was hoping this was going to be in a zone for tomorrow morning, but it's not. Huh. How much movement do we have up there? Okay, so that, let's see. Indicators. Okay, so here's something that's interesting. So the daily ATR is basically where the daily ATR, what it does, it gives us kind of a secret signal of where price could move to, right? With a news release. Well, on the 4-hour, the first kind of clean zone we have at the top would be up in this area. We have the descending wicks. The last time it spiked up here, it turned immediately. We are 68 pips from that area right now. 68 is just below where the daily ATR. This one fluctuates again from down here at the lows of 58 up to 89. Okay, currently we're about 70ish, 75ish right now. So if the news is just so crappy and we get a spike up, we could potentially hit this area at 111.88, and that could be an opportunity for us to turn and short. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, that's about the best news trade I think we have on this one. I think the downside's a little bit more risky as far as a retracement. I don't know that it's going to give us enough room to run to the downside. Um, we're only about, 20 pips or so above it, so may want to be a little bit cautious about that one. But I do like this to the top side. If we extend this one out to the side, again, right at the top of this purple, if we get a spike, again, that spike would be, can I do super light color? Yeah, if we can get that spike up, okay, into that area, be willing to take this short to the downside. Okay, something small like that. Okay, again, that's probably the best look on this one. All right, euro dollar. Okay, euro dollar is pretty flat today. Like we mentioned today. Again, when I say pretty flat, I mean it went down 20 pips from last night. Because remember, we were flirting right around the 111 last night, and it went down 20, 25 pips today. So really not a ton of movement. And again, the drawings are still here. Okay, we are here. I'm still looking for the price to jump up or jump down. Okay, we do have this zone here, but I think the zone is so close. It's only 20 pips. With bad news with France and Germany, I think it should be able to blow through that level, and there's not much above it. So I'm still kind of holding firm. If we go up, again, the upward movement is from where we are right now. It's 50 pips up, 50 pips down, and that's perfect because the daily ATR on this one is at 50 pips. Okay. You guys can see right now we're at 47, but again, it's up in here it was more in the 50s. It's amazing that the euro dollar's down to 50, right? You guys look back here, look at this. So back in here, like we're talking December, we're talking like the 75 range and even higher. Over here we're up at 107 in February. So again, this thing is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. All right, so it is 50 pips. It's one ATR top and bottom. Get the reversals if we can hit either of those two channels. Again, based off of this drop down here or the start of the overall move. Okay, those are the only two things I'm looking for in that one. Euro Aussie will probably be a big mover tomorrow as well. Again, if the news is totally off base. Again, this one is kind of pulled back and then just stopped. It was in a downtrend setup, but really not a lot of places that were, I'd say, healthy to grab. And again, you can see, let me bring this back up to the 30-minute. You can see that there really wasn't too much in there. Again, if I shrink it, there's a little bit of an area right up here, right? We've hit it once, we've hit it twice. Unfortunately, this will be call number 3 coming through it. This level here, although it looks nice, is a reaction off of this, and it's been a lot of time there. So may or may not be a hold. This area here, okay, so this little kind of bit here is interesting because we have a single wick against a wall, a little tiny bit of a base, and then a single wick against a wall. So this isn't horrible, just above where we are, but unfortunately, the 4-hour is not giving us a whole lot, right? A little basing, pullback, hit, kind of went down. Wicks down here again. They're pretty bullish wicks to the downside. How much is that? Let's see. Yeah, it's 105. It's too much. I don't think we're gonna get the spike on this one, unfortunately. What's up, very strong player 123? Very strong. If you're just logging in, you can do. There's a giveaway tonight that we're doing for what we would call pip chips. and they are currency for us. We have some cool things that we give away with it. You just do a exclamation point ticket, and you're good to go. Yes, I do. 987 is like, man, I'm gonna get more tickets and more tickets and more tickets. But you guys are acquiring actual the currency right now. It's the channel's currency. So every 10 minutes, you guys are getting things. If you follow or subscribe, obviously you get more of them. So you get those. He's like, I want more tickets. Give me more tickets. All right, let's jump over that one again. I don't really see too much to set up on that one. I like, as far as news goes, I think the euro yen and euro dollar are going to be better plays for that one. All right, so this guy, we're back inside of that daily zone again. Okay. Again, we talked about this last night. There's 19 and there's 19 right now. So this one did have a little bit of a pullback. I think some of you guys got into it. Okay. Again, we had pushed this one. It did hit all the way to the bottom, hit the level, came all the way back to the top. And again, this news spike kind of hit it in both directions. So definitely more bearish in this position. Okay. Which kind of conflicts with what we talked about with the euro pound. I would like the pound to actually get some more strength, but unfortunately, this is a pretty decent level. Okay, it's shown to be pretty resilient. It's actually launched price off of it pretty well. Price rallied back up and went slightly higher, but then again, nice kind of push back down again. We're having a failure to go higher right now. So, I don't think we'll have a lot of movement in this one overnight. I think the morning news will affect it. Trying to see how much of a spike we're going to get out of this one. Let me check over here. Our ATR is, yeah, it's down to 110. So it's coming down quick. And like I said, that's just because of in here. Man, I want this thing to collapse. So, it's kind of pushing it. Like I said, this is not really the cleanest one either. I just hate the fact that it's been so flat for 4 days straight now. I mean, even if I try to make it seem like it's huge, it's really hard to. Again, this is 4 days of basically no movement. Okay. Again, bit of retracement back and forth, but again, you guys can see it kind of came down and literally shot straight back up again. From Tuesday morning early. Yeah, it was the news burst down and up, and we're still here. Like I said, we've been here since Friday. Okay, here's the Friday candle right here, and we are exactly where we were on the Friday candle, and now it's Wednesday. So, yeah, it's just not trending enough, guys. I'm not going to set anything up on this one either. It's just not there. Yeah, very strong. I'm more of a day trader, an intraday guy. These sessions, I do more things, setting up things overnight, but for the most part, I'm more of an intraday. Kind of go on, look at it. Yeah, Q, it's super choppy. Like I said, when you're at the same place 5 days later, it's really not giving you a whole lot. And even on the lower time frame, this is not anything that I was looking at. Okay, the pound. Pound dollar, again, we're still wedged between the two different zones. Okay. Again, there was a little bit of action in this one today. So this one did basically make it all the way back down again. We had this spike, and finding an entry into it was a little bit challenging. You may have gotten stopped out, and we talked about it on this one yesterday about getting stopped out here. Now, we did kind of leave the area again and start to do a retest. Now, here was a little bit of a hidden zone, right? Right here. Okay. We did this failure to go higher, which typically means let's look for an area for us to retrace on. And we started to get some movement, and you guys see this kind of basing level right here, this drop, sideways drop. And again, pretty nice movement. We were 4 or 5 candles in. You see this one little candle right here, this spike, okay? This spike was nice because, again, came all the way down, all the way back up again, and just barely touched the zone. So it gave us kind of the descending candles that we needed. Then we got the pop and the drop down here. So it was actually a very, very small level. And then it's really done nothing since that time. But again, there was definitely something you could have grabbed on the way out. Now remember, there are 3 different things, right? Okay. There's 3 different places to take a trade. I think I have a text button here, right? So here's number 1, right? I don't know how big we can make this. There you go. There is number 1. Oops. Okay. Number 1 is here. Okay. Number 2 is something like this, right? We'll do this number 2. I think we're good. There's number 2. Okay. Forgot that was the other one. And number 3 would be here. Okay. Now, let me explain the three differences on these. And again, this would make a difference of where you entered it, right? Um, Number one is when you come into a zone. This is set and forget trading. You can say, if it hits this area, sell. Here's my profit target. Here's my stop loss. Okay. Number two is somewhere in the zone where you get your actual reversal pattern, right? You're already in there. Okay. You can lower your risk by taking the number two because you're still going to use the distal end of this one, right? But again, you got to make sure that you have the confirmation there. And sometimes the confirmation moves back. Or you can take number three when it's leaving the zone. Okay. And in which case you could have taken it here when it left the zone. Actually, the first red, green, red we got was over here. This is technically your confirmation. Whoops, hold on. Your confirmation trade actually triggered right here. Okay. So you could have taken this and said, hey, listen, there's a bit of a zone here, right? So here's the actual zone piece, right? And it's so small, I probably would have just taken the whole candle. There's your confirmation in, which is at the very, very bottom of that as well. You saw it come down, it retested, came back up, and then bam, there was your trade, from here down. Now, the risk on this one obviously would have been very, very tiny. Okay, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about this one. Now you're talking about 5 here, and to the bottom, again, the bottom is based off of this spot right here is 16. So it's a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio trade. Again, a standard lot is $150, you risk 50. So again, it's not buying you Ferraris or anything like that. But again, depending on the account size and what world you're in, a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio trade on a day where it's flat, not horrible to take. You guys can see the rest of it. What has it done the rest of the day? It's moved less than 10 pips the rest of the day. So again, depending on where you got into this trade, your target would have always been the same, whether it was here, here, or here. We're looking for the start of the last move, which was here. And again, that would be, kind of putting your profit target right to that line. Actually, it's just slightly higher than that. Sorry. It's right there. It's the top of this body. And you guys can see, what did it bounce off of? What did it respect? The area of prior buyers. Okay, so yeah, it's choppy. It looks familiar here, right? Exactly. Yeah, so again, those are the only 3 places you could actually enter this trade. Me personally on this one, I do like this kind of little zone here. There was other ways you could have taken it. Again, you could have taken it up here, and again, you may have gotten, again, this is not really the best base. I like this, how it came down and then went sideways across. And once I saw this little spike in, then yes, you could have actually taken this one and actually shrunk it a little more and said, okay, I'm going to take just the body. Because it spent so little time here, it was kind of a gift. It kind of came up, it went down, up, gave you a gift, and came back, and then drove lower. It's telling you, hey, listen, the only reason why this didn't blow through this is because there's actually somebody there. Okay, and then boom, popped, and that dropped back down again. So that would have actually lowered your risk a little bit even more in the trade. Okay, had you seen it. But like I said, I'd like that one again. Here's your red. There's this red, green, red here, but again, not really the best because you were in the single wick against the wall. As price came back up, your red, green got popped here because the red was higher. Here, it went higher than this, so that's out. Here's a red, here's a green, but there's a red. There's not a confirmation, right? It didn't break below. Then here's not below. Here's not below, but there's your red, there's your green, there's your red, right here at the exit to the zone. Wanted to be a little more certain? Again, there's your red, there's your green, there's your red. So those were your 2 options, right? As far as taking your confirmation entries. Okay, here, I'll make that a little bit bigger just to make sure you guys are able to capture this one, right? So here's your first one, your red, green, red. There's number 1, and then number 2 is there. So there's 2 different confirmation entries to be able to take this one. One leaving the zone, one as it's just left the zone. Okay, and again, always put yourself above whatever you're using. Make sense? Wealth Builder, no, it doesn't. But Wealth Builder, have you ever logged into Twitch before? I'll tell you in a second if you have. If you have, I'll just give you points based off of, I think you have, yeah, there, right there. So what I'll do is you get, what is it? 2 for every 10 minutes. So I'll assign you points because you're over on YouTube tonight. Okay. So I'll manually assign them to you. So where we are right now, guys, a little bit of a harder position. Again, we're on the 5-minute finding these things. So again, this is very, very small. If we drop this back up to, again, that's why it's such a tiny area. If we go to the 30-minute, you guys can see we were really just stuck right inside this little zone here. Really not a whole lot going on, right? We had all this peaking up here, right? First entry we got here was this little kind of red, green, red. And again, you would have stayed in the trade. You would have taken the risk level of this, okay? Your entry would have been this. Okay, you took a little bit of heat, and again, where would you go down to? Probably about the same area. Okay, you could have kind of messed around in this area somewhere. I would not have used this one because of these wicks. These wicks are showing me there's something on the smaller time frame. But again, we're getting nitpicky. We're going from the 30 down to the 5. I refuse to go down to the 1 to find these setups. But again, they're all the same using that confirmation entry. And again, this would be a number 2, right? Because here's number 1. right? In this case, this would have been number 1 as you entered the area. This is a number 2 when you get a confirmation in the area. And then again, number 3 would be when you actually leave the area. But in this case, it had to travel so far down, you were giving up a lot by doing that. There's also this little piece right here, this little kind of green base that I didn't see before, but you could have taken that as well, and this one spiked to it also. All right, so there's your 1, 2, 3 different type of entry types tonight, our lesson for the evening. Going into pound New Zealand. This is Ernest's pair. This was his hidden little gem over here, right? Now again, not a bad day, right, on this one. We did have kind of movement up. So close, right? Remember, we've been talking about this for multiple days. We wanted it to get inside of this gold bar area from here to here, right? Puts us at the very top of the range, puts us in a daily zone of sellers. Definitely looking for a place for us to retrace. And again, we missed this one on the 30-minute by pipettes, right? It did pull back. It did go to a level base. And again, you guys can see it got just here, got so close, and then boom, okay? So this is the problem with waiting for things to get into the zone, okay? Actually, if you were taking this on a number 1, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. You still wouldn't have got in. Even with the spread, it was so close, but it just wasn't there. Had you been waiting for that confirmation to the downside, the color change, again, you could have probably snagged that one on this one, but you increased your level of risk on it. And I just don't think there was enough of a reward on this one to be able to take the confirmation entry. And number 3 would be leaving the zone. It didn't even make it to the zone. So obviously that one was not viable. So what's going to send it back up to, and the last one here? Hold on, let me go back. What's going to send it back up to there? Right now, nothing. Oh, back up to 124, back up into here. I mean, right below, I'll delete these. Okay, one thing for this one right now is we're kind of messing around in this daily zone right now. Okay, and again, you guys can see it bases a lot here. See this area down here? Actually, this should be more of a buying area here, right? But again, we took it as a stop loss to run it back up to this zone. That's why it was red. But right now, it's got to clear this area, and then after it clears that, there's really not much keeping it from going back up. Okay, it can make this. Even if you look over here, you got a little bit of this kind of pop up and down thing right here. This was news based. There's really not a whole lot until we get back up into this 123.90 area. So, again, it's going to take what it's going to take is some Brexit news. If you're looking for a specific thing, it's going to take some Brexit news. The problem right now with Brexit is people still have no idea. Everybody's talking about a no deal. Like, yeah, we're going to do a no deal. They're doing like ads now for the, put PR, but Brexit is about the only thing. Okay. When we have some type of certainty, right now, everybody's focused on a no deal Brexit leave, which is like, okay, but what does that mean? Like, people have no idea. And when people are confused, it doesn't bring strength or weakness. At this point, there's really not much more that you can beat this pair up. I don't think this pair is going to go to parity with the the euro. That brings it almost to parity back with the dollar as well. And again, I just, yes, it's going to hurt them trade wise, but they're not going to produce that much. And if the more it gets beat up like this, the better it's getting for their companies to export things, which is going to stimulate their economy. So it's kind of one of those things. Yes, things can move over long durations of time, but this thing has obviously gotten beat up over such a short period of, within like the last, year or 2 years, it just tanked. It just gotten hammered, right? So, once there's some absolute certainty about Brexit, people will figure out how to start rebuilding this one back up again, but that's what it's going to take. Yeah, it'll clear one of these. Yeah, because realize there's only so many sellers here and only so many buyers here. Eventually, one of these two will run out. It's flaunted more on the top side, but I think the farther we go down, it makes a bigger difference, And like I said, the weaker a currency gets, the more attractive it is for people to buy goods from that country, which kind of helps the pound, right? Think about it. When everybody wants to send their money there, and buy goods from you, your economy gets better. And then again, that will stimulate rate hikes and everything else. And all we hear about, in Europe is the softening and recession and this kind of stuff. Like, they're already beat up over there. You can only beat them up for so long. It just can't go until, it's a large country. It's not a third world country. They're not going to zero, right? They're not going bankrupt. It is what it is. Okay. But again, we're basically playing between these two zones right now. So, if you're looking for more of a swing position, you could potentially take a break below this level and run this back down. Be cautious. There is basing right here with a nice pop. So, you could take it from this 21 all the way down to, where was it at? 2130 all the way down to 2060. So it's about a 60 pip run to the downside. But again, it's such a compressed area right now. Just be a little cautious with it. Okay. New Zealand dollar. But yeah, Brexit's the only thing that's going to break one of those two zones right now. There's just not enough going on otherwise. Okay, New Zealand dollar. Yesterday we talked about it going a little bit lower. We're there right now. Okay, we are inside of this daily buying zone. Again, this is a case where again, if you hit it when we entered, you would have taken the trade here. Okay, inside of the zone looking for a confirmation. You kind of got it right here, right? But again, this candle right here, see this thing? Let me move the gold bar just a little bit so you can see how big the body was. This kind of bar right here kind of made it a little bit funky, right? We're only talking about a small kind of. It's not very big. I mean, I'm stretching the candles to make it look like it's huge, but you guys can see it's very, very small. This entire move, like even if I take top to bottom, you're talking about 19 pips. So it's actually not that big. It's very, very consolidated. We made it's kind of more like this, and it's just bouncing around this level. I want to see what it's going to do now. I want to see if it's going to continue to grind down. You can see, although this is grindy, it is going between red and green pretty well with not a lot of pullbacks, right? We have our reds, our greens, our red, our green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green. And again, it is kind of keeping with this downtrend. So it's grinding down. It is obviously on the daily into a level, okay? The level goes down here to 63.77. It's definitely getting pushed down. So, and again, taking on the grand scheme of things, you guys can see how pushed down it is, okay? The fact that it is broken through, it's actually hitting a little teaser area that's just below this last gap. So it's definitely an area of buyers. The big question is this area of buyers, because it's been so long since it's been here, is it fundamentally still a sound area? So I want to see if it continues to grind. Right now, it's doing just slightly lower lows. Okay, before it's kind of probes down, which means I could technically grab this blue and drag it down to this level right here, the low, and say this is what the zone is right now. Okay, but there's no monumental news, particularly tomorrow. Nothing in here right now screams great. Okay, nothing. There's no U.S. news that it's going to say, hey, I mean, flash manufacturing PMI is not going to suddenly, uproot this thing. But the New Zealand retail sales number tomorrow night, this could potentially give us the pop that we're looking for to break us out of this zone. Okay, retail sales number for the New Zealand dollar is pretty big. Retail sales for most people is pretty big, so that could be the pop that we're looking for. Okay, the one thing that I do not like about this news release though is it doesn't really have a very, very clean 4-hour zone that it's going to pop up into. Okay, so that's kind of where the problem is. There's nothing for it to pop into that's clean. If we do get a big spike up, I will definitely, without a doubt, be looking at lower time frames to see if I can get a color change reversal to the downside to play a retracement. Okay, like I said, it's a big number, or it's a big important thing for New Zealand. But at the end of the day, globally, nobody really cares about the New Zealand dollar versus the U.S. dollar. Whatever happens with that immediate reaction will be counterbalanced by obviously the U.S. dollar pair. Okay, especially going into Jackson Hole this week. Okay, and if you guys are wondering why there's not as much movement, again, I mentioned on Monday, Jackson Hole is an international kind of forum with leaders and basically the financial police, more or less, all going out to Wyoming. So all the central banks are on vacation this week. They're all in Wyoming. Typically it's not this bad, but like I said, this is a pretty bad week so far as far as movement goes. But again, just keep look for a retrace on this one tomorrow. Okay, dollar Swiss was the big mover today. You guys can see. 35. Actually, I guess the pound just took it over, but this one was 41 a little while ago. So look at this guy, okay? Again, we did have that pullback. We talked about having a downtrend set up yesterday, right? We had the impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, and then the impulse move of this one, okay? And again, it was coming down. Now, did it turn into a clean zone? Nah, not really, right? There's really not a whole lot there. I mean, there's this piece, there's this kind of really strange candle, and you had this little piece down here. So it didn't even make it all the way down, okay? But we do see that there is a 4-hour zone up here. So yes, it is up. I wasn't necessarily interested in going long in any type of position, looking for that uptrend setup. Why? Because again, then you'd be buying into an area of seller. So now you guys can see we are just before that level. Okay, if I extend this across, to there. Okay, we've just entered that area right now. So question is, are we willing to take a short off of this one? Okay. Let's see. What is the total risk in this trade? We're probably going to make it smaller anyway, but I'm trying to get the general idea. Yeah, it's 22. I'm not interested in taking something that's 22 on this pair. All right, so this one basically is sitting. I'd probably do it like that. Just a little bit lower there. Okay, that's probably where I would draw this one. Again, this zone was formed off the gap. Okay, it came up, it retraced back to the gap again, and just held. Let's see, let's check that one out now. Okay, took a little bit of heat if you did a number one entry on that one. It's about 8 pip risk. So here's the problem for me on this one. I don't mind the 8 pip risk. Going to the start of move is only about 17, and that's not a horrible zone. That one's about 30. I'd probably say, probably there. That's probably what I would look at as far as kind of a profit target on this one. And the reason why is because of this candle right here. You guys can see it's small body, wick went all the way to here, went all the way down and blew this zone out. So normally our profit target would have been here, right here at the top of this green, which is not enough for me. It was only like 17 pips. It's a 2-to-1, so I would not be setting that up. But the fact that this news thing kind of went high and smashed through the bottom means it ate up a lot of those orders, which means to be looking more for over in this area, this red or this single wick over here, which puts us basically what, 3.5 to 1, which again, that is technically a viable trade. Risk again is small. It's a small risk on this one if you're not used to trading this pair. Problem with an overnight, I mean, again, if you're looking to trade this with an 8x, problem is 29 pips is not that far. It's not even 2 strikes. So I'm kind of afraid that, excuse me, if you did take this on an 8x, it would expire on you before it had enough time to move. And that's kind of the risk this week of taking anything for any of the out of the monies. It's just not moving enough this week. It's kind of dried up. Yeah, I'd probably take this one more in a spot currency. Because even the next 2 hours, I don't think you're going to get enough movement. I mean, if you're going to take something small, it's just not going to be there. So, like, even if this was in the middle of the day, I don't know that I would take... Like, even if this was, like, this morning with the 2-hour binaries, I don't even think I would take this with a 2-hour binary. I just don't think right now it's showing me that there's enough movement to even take it with something small when they're available. So, yeah, I would probably stay in spot currency on this one. Okay. That's all we have for that. Let's go over to dollar CAD. Dollar CAD, had all its news this morning, right? We had the CPI number, which is very good. I mean, it was a very good number. I mean, it's supposed to be 0.1, which is supposed to be more positive than it was before. And it was even more positive, right? Even higher. So again, good for the currency. Now, when I say it's good for the currency, the reason why it is because when inflation is higher, that's when they raise interest rates, which brings strength into that pair, okay? Again, you guys can see, like, wait a second, but it's red. That wasn't good. No, it wasn't, but again, it's because of the interest rate thing. It hit the profit target, by the way. That was our profit target for this zone. So on the 10-minute, let me see what this looks like on the 15. Yeah. All right, so this one is sitting in a zone. Again, this is something you guys should have grabbed, right? There's Wednesday morning. Okay, here is the spike down. Okay, the spike was worth about 44. Okay, looking at the average 2 range. Okay, it's about, I'm going to pull it in here. This is about the middle area, which is about 60. So again, that's a decent, again, obviously, I mean, the ATR on this time frame right here, you're talking about 10. So this candle, actually during this time, it would have been, about 10 still. So again, parabolic retracement. News burst down. Okay, what are we looking to do? We're looking to turn around and retrace it back up again. And again, your target would have been here. Okay, so this was a retrace that you guys should have grabbed this morning. Okay, and that's exactly where price is right now. So it is in an area of sellers where we've had prior selling. Do we have any news tomorrow for CAD? Flash manufacturing should move this one a bit. Not huge, but should be a bit. Again, same situation we have on all the dailies right now. The prior color is engulfed, so obviously we are in a sideways market. This one is sideways with an upward bias. Again, we've talked about this 4-hour zone where it's popping here. Again, this was a parabolic move this morning based off of news. 40 pips down, you were looking to retrace it back up again. And again, you wouldn't have taken any more than 10 pip risk. You could have actually designed a zone off of here and probably make it even a little bit smaller, but 10 for 40 would have been fine to retrace on this one. As soon as you saw this kind of retest to here, again, that would have been your sign that, okay, listen, it's popped once, it's coming up, okay, let's go. Off to the races, do a confirmation number 3 on that one. Right now, nothing. Like I said, it's sitting in an area of sellers on the 30-minute. Right now, it is engulfed on the 4-hour, and we're engulfed on the daily. So, obviously, need again, when you see this spike up, look for retrace. Spike up, retest. That's kind of all we got. Let's look at a dollar yen. Come on, dollar yen. Again, dollar yen. 3 pips of movement in 24 hours. All right, you guys can see super, super flat. Again, this one had the failed retracement. It came about 70% of the way through. Again, it did hit this zone over here. Again, the better of the zone, the first clean zone. It did hit down here. It did go back up. I believe we drew this. Again, here's 21. And 21.30 is right here. Okay, so we talked about this before. It came down. What did it do? It went back up. It hit the level. Obviously, it hit the profit target that we put on there from last night. Basically hit the level right above it for basing, and now we're stuck in the same area. So again, that little tiny zone that we had, the only pop on this chart, like we said, we had one here, but why was this? You guys remember why this one was bad and why this one was good? Why was this one good and this one bad? You guys remember from last night? Remember, this one was good because it was here for a very short period. Yep, time spent, very short period of time. This one spent a long time here. So this is the zone that we drew. It was about 6 pips total. Price came down. You could have got entry here or entry here. And why do we use this as our target? Well, because that was really the start where we had the base and we finally got our first pop out of that zone. Okay, again, so this was a risking 6 for 34. And again, remember, if you guys don't know how much it's worth, click the I up over here, and it's going to tell you it's worth $9.39. Okay, so 34 is not, as I mentioned, in a market this slow, okay, 9.39 times 34, $300. Okay, so nothing to be scoffed at. $300 is fine for the day. Especially like a day like today where it's just absolutely flat and there's just nothing moving. Again, that was something. Again, this was set up last night. We mentioned it last night as a profit target. You guys can see where it sucked into was this piece. Okay, and like I said, even if you didn't trade it, learn something from it. I do want to keep driving up. I wanted to get back into this daily purple zone. I will be willing to take shorts as soon as we get up into there. Make sure you have your alert set for 106.78 for that one. CAD Swiss should have a new spike in it as well. Unfortunately, I didn't look at it this morning for this one. The baby was, I don't know if she's entered the phase now where she gets nightmares, where she just starts to scream and you're like, ah. All right, so this one again, parabolic retracement this morning. This one did not retrace all the way. Kind of came back down again and grabbed more orders. So what did it grab? Okay. Surprisingly enough, and I said this before, that's why I have the X sitting here. I said I probably wouldn't be interested in taking this one if it moves up here again. Okay, but what did it do? It hit that area on a news spike, which makes it a little bit different, right? We talked about grinding again. It won't hold. A news spike like this, where it jumps, we're talking about 30 pips, 40 pips in a news burst, a little bit different. And again, you've seen that it's kind of pulled back, right? Interesting enough, it didn't actually drive all the way back down again. It's actually been holding in that level, which leads me to believe that sellers are now starting to support it. So, buyers are starting to support this level now, preparing for this to kind of burst through. Again, you guys can see right here on the 4-hour, you guys see the wick against the wall here. So it came up, it pulled back, it went down. It was obviously red at some point and then pushed up and ended up in the green. But what it's doing is establishing orders here, and now it's basing, grabbing enough momentum, and I think now is when it's going to get ready to burst through the top. So there definitely can be some long plays out of this one. Again, we have this little zone at the very, very, very top of the zone. But again, I think we can get this one to burst through the top. And again, every single retracement is not going to retrace. Again, this one you would have been up had you taken it off. Even if you taken the 4-hour zone off the 30, you were still up over 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. It wouldn't have cost you a penny. It's come back and retraced the second time, but it's spent so much time here. Obviously, it's not something I'm necessarily looking to get into short. It just spent too much time. There's no momentum. There's no power behind this at all. I'm actually waiting now for it to kind of break out of the top now that we're forming a basing level on the bottom side. All right. That's all I got for that guy. And let's look at CAD Yen. Come on, you can load CAD Yen. All right, little spiky day, right? Okay, so this one actually, interesting enough, we talked about this zone. Okay, it came up and it got close before it started the retest, and then it came back up again, and then went down again, and then just based, right? Remember we talked about when you have these big levels of basing, okay, the risk on this was 8. You can see this little red piece was 8. Here, let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can get a better view on this one, okay? This is what I was talking about. When you get in position, it just starts to, stop, right? We were up in this one over 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Okay, in fact, if it was 8, we were actually up almost 14. We were up 1.5. We were up 1.5 on this one. Okay, in which case you move your stop loss to break even. Okay, this would have been a free trade. Nothing really occurred with it. It ended up getting the spike through, and again, it's just basically kind of holding in this kind of level here and pulled back down again. So again, make anything on this one? No, this would have been a break even trade. Wouldn't have cost you a dime. Like I said, you were up almost 14 pips on this one, over 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, stop loss to break even and protect yourself, especially going into news. And again, the news obviously triggered at 8:30, launches higher on this one for CAD strength, right? Because of the good CAD news, because the inflation was up. And now it's just kind of readjusted back to where it was beforehand. So, really the retrace would have been up to here if you wanted to take the retest. You're talking about going from 80 all the way up to, it's only about 34 pips, so probably wouldn't have been something you wanted to retest. I mean, yes, it was a parabolic move. Had you watched it, you would have been really any heat if you timed it at the top, but it would have taken a long time. And it did actually hit the zone up on the top, but this one, it would have been like watching paint dry all day and just not worth it. So the entry would have been here. You would have got stopped out of break even, not to the end of the world, nothing to worry about now. And again, that was the CAD. Obviously, the CPI information from today, which was, excellent. Okay. That was this number right here. And you would think, wait a second, but Brian, this is inflation. Why is inflation good? Inflation is good. And again, we talked about this, guys. Typically has been more positive, right, than what they've been forecasting. They're a bit negative on those forecasts, which the market had factored some in. But again, they're off a little bit here, right? Yes, inflation is good because it raises interest rates, which makes people want the money more. All right, so with that being said, that's going to be all for tonight, guys. Like I said, market is literally on vacation this week, so we'll go over to the giveaway. This is your guys' last chance. Make sure you get in there and hit the exclamation point ticket. I'll give you guys about 1 minute to do it if you already haven't. Remember, you can do it a second time, and it's not the end of the world. It'll just tell you if you already have a ticket or not. All right. Q, you got about 6 tickets. No, I'm just kidding. And remember, I think you can actually buy more tickets if you want to use your pip chips, but I give you guys the free one, so I would just leave it at that if I were you guys. Actually, Q, you have 2 tickets in there, so obviously you have done another ticket. Somebody's trying to stack it tonight. I can't park a Lamborghini at the airport with these August movements. No, you can't, Ernest. Not at all. Awesome. I think I'm in this drawing. You're in a drawing twice, Q. Look, right here. Well, you're in twice. Okay. All right, that's it. So I'm going to close this one down in 11 seconds. Ready? 8, 7, 6. It's not your bad. It's just, it's you. It's you. Okay, ready? Boom. It's closed. Draw a winner, and the winner is Will. Wait, Will, when did you get here? Man, did Will sneak in? He's like, let me log into my other accounts. Will, when did you sneak in? I cannot believe. Like, seriously, when did Will get in here? Will pulled the Carl on you guys. I don't know when Will got in here, but it's rigged again. I know, right? It's always that guy that comes in at the end, man. Look at Will. Will's like, I'm not going to say anything. Like that Homer Simpson meme where he like sinks back into the bush? That's what Will's doing right now. He's not talking, but he's kind of sneaking in. But he snuck it in there at the very, very end, right? So, all right, guys. So I'm going to give Will his 25 pip chips for the day. Actually, I can go right over the leaderboard right now. And where is Will? I will give him amounts to add to this user. We'll give him his 25 and put him up there. And Will has gone back into second place. He just kicked Ernest out. So that's the way to do it, Will. I tried to come in at the end with too much delay on my side. Yeah, Silent, you must have just missed it. You got to get in there quick, man. As soon as you get into the channel, you got to kind of lay him in there, right? And again, guys, one of the things that you can purchase with this right now is mentoring sessions, one-on-one mentoring sessions. And again, I'm going to add some more of these things. I'm going to put a class in here pretty soon, and a couple other things. But again, when you get to 250, Will's almost there. I think Will's not spending any money because he's saving it for the mentoring session. But again, this is one-on-one. We can custom tailor to whatever you want. Go over strategy, go over your trades, go over psychology, whatever you want. It's again, 30 minutes of direct access, whatever you want to talk about. All right. All right, guys, so with that being said, I am out of here. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow morning, if you want to set your alarms or stay up late, this French and German data should give us some good movement in the euro, the pound, and again, any of the euro-based pairs, obviously, but the euro-pound, I think, is what's going to give us the biggest thing. Secondary will be pound movements because, obviously, they are linked. All right? Flash PMI in the morning. And again, tomorrow is first day of Jackson Hole Symposium. It will be dry for most of the day. And then at night tomorrow is probably when the people will come out and start talking. Remember, news reporters are not allowed into the symposium. So what happens is people, the financial leaders, will come out and talk to the reporters to get 5 minutes of fame because they'll be the hottest news out tomorrow. And again, that's talking about the global economy. All right? So thank you guys so much. I will catch you guys tomorrow.